If you have a night off where you're not thinking about hockey, what's your preferred activity?
That's not a boring question.
Okay, I'm going to spice it up a little bit. Watching TV does not count.
Yeah.
No, that was not even in my...
Spice it up a little bit.
Spice it up a little bit.
I don't really do anything besides
Anything
watch TV.
if I'm not playing or at a hockey game or reffing or something, I'm with my wife.
Doing what?
Well, last Saturday we played pickleball.
Ooh. I love pickleball. Where do you play pickleball in the winter?
We were a guest at like Lifetime, some pickleball someplace. But we've done curling. We've done pickleball. We'll go to movies. We'll go out to dinner. Anything that's usually my wife and I centered. I know that's kind of boring, but that's...
No, it's good.
It's
more exciting than I thought you were going to answer, so...
What would you have thought my answer about?
I don't know, just like watch TV. I mean, Peter said we can't choose that.
I don't ever do that, so...
You only watch one show, so...
What show is it?
The Bear.
The Bear.
You said you watch one singular show.
There's a new show, but I'm not going to talk about it on this show because it'd be like above PG-13, but I'll tell you guys off here.
What streaming service is it?
I have no idea.
HBO. It's got to be.
I have no idea.
Max,
Is it the Penguin?
Tell you. No. I'm not going to tell you on the air. It's a little racy for this show.
The White Lotus.
What's that?
The White Lotus?
No, I'm not. Let's move on. What do you do, Peter?
Sopranos.
What do you do? No, it's not Sopranos.
I'm trying to remember the last thing that Laura and I did.
It doesn't have to be Laura. It could be something you like to do.
I like to play hockey.
There you go.
Sometimes I'll go to Como Park. Played Humboldt in basketball last night.
I love that stuff.
And I was going to go to that game. We didn't end up going because we ended up doing house stuff, like cleaning the house. But we like to go out to dinner. We hang out with her sister and her sister's fiance a lot. And one of these days, we're going to run over to Como High School and watch a basketball game.
That would be cool. I would be down for that.
We went to a soccer game.
Olivia's boyfriend, Alex, played basketball, so his final 2 years of hoops, we would go out to watch those every once in a while.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
How about you?
I like to do...
You haven't had any free time lately.
No, I haven't. No. I like to do crafts.
Of course you
Yes. And play volleyball on grass.
I do that occasionally.
Yes.
I like to do crafts, but I'm currently working on this tiny little, it's like a little miniature greenhouse, but you have to make every single little piece of it. Like I had to make a basket, but I have to like fold the paper and then I have to put rope around it and then I have to put little fake flowers in it. It requires a lot of glue and a lot of patience.
Like macrame?
It's basically like Legos, but for crafts.
God, you are a dork. I had no idea you were this much
I can't
of a dork.
wait to rewatch this on YouTube later and watch you do.
I know.
Your eyes are all
I hate
wide.
watching myself on video because I do really
I had
weird
to
things
beat
with
a
my
little piece of
with my
rope
hands.
around the flower.
But
and
it's
then I
really
did
cute,
this.
and it requires a lot of patience. I like the little gem art where you like put a little teeny gem on a little sticky pad. No, it's like an actual art, and then you do it all with little teeny tiny pieces.
Wow, what you can learn by tuning into 10 minutes.
Hey, kids know what gem art is, okay? Just because you're old and out of touch with reality doesn't mean that kids are.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Need to stay up out the streets.
Welcome to 10 Minutes. I'm Tony Scott. Peter Odney looking at his phone. Are you looking up gem art right now, or what are you looking up there?
No, right now I'm looking at a real cute picture of Lar.
Oh, okay.
And my dog.
Wow.
That's the other thing we like to do. We like to play with our dogs.
Okay. Fantastic. Peter, thanks for being here.
Why are you, like, your responses are, like,
you
really
seem so
weird.
offended.
It was,
right
like,
now.
sarcastic. Okay.
Okay.
Glad you like to play with your dog.
All right. I like to play with my dog, too.
I just want to talk
I
about
don't have a
hockey.
dog.
Let's talk about hockey.
My name is Tony Scott.
It's just hockey, right?
He doesn't have
all it
a
is.
life, so he didn't like that question.
That's not true. I was the one who had a specific example of something I specifically did.
I shouldn't
outside of
say you don't
hockey.
have a
You
life. I
played
just said that
pickleball.
on my time off, I like to craft small little objects.
I know.
So,
So
I hate to tell you this, but I'm over the pickleball craze.
have you ever played it?
Yes.
How many
Yeah.
times?
A bunch.
Okay,
We had
well,
an entire
I'm
segment
like
on
a
it.
tennis person, so I love pickleball.
See, I would prefer to watch actual tennis
Well,
or
you don't
play
have to
actual tennis.
I was gonna say you don't have to watch pickleball. Watching pickleball is not like.
But it
super
just feels
exciting.
like people of a certain age are always like, "Oh, we played pickleball last night." I'm like,
I've
"Okay, that's
never-
cool."
I've never once, hopefully, ever used the term pickleball as if I was A, athletic, or B, cool.
You know, pickleball's just like
Something
it's like
to go
fun
do.
to play.
Yeah, just something.
and it's not hard on your body.
I would say it's definitely something to do in recreation.
it's
That's all it is. I would never like. You should see the people at this Lifetime Club.
people in like
man.
a
These people
pickleball
are-
league. Oh
These
yeah,
people are like serious. I'm
They're
like, dude,
nuts.
there
do you
are people
realize
that are crazy about
This
it.
is like pickleball is the softball equivalent to baseball. Baseball being tennis, and softball being the same. It's just recreation. It's fun. Like, don't take it too seriously. The people who take softball too seriously need a life.
Softball.
Okay,
but
that's-
that's
they need a
like
life.
basically just diminishing women's sports because softball.
No, I'm talking about recreation.
Oh, you're
League,
talking
softball.
about
Slow pitch
okay.
softball.
I get what you're
That's-
saying.
In comparison
You're right,
to
you're
baseball
right.
and tennis
You're
compared
right.
to pickleball, it's for people
It's
who
like
aren't.
the more leisure option.
Yeah, leisure, recreational, fun.
Yes,
and
I
let's,
get
so
what
my
you're
point
saying.
is, let's not get too serious about your pickle or your softball. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
like it's not real sport.
That's
you know?
a more accurate description of what annoys me about pickleball is the people who take it super.
Sure.
And if
Insane
you
what-
like that
That's
lady
fair.
who's an heir to the Cargill fortune who wanted to buy 1 million acres
To probably
in Duluth.
so she could play pickleball.
And then the
on it?
residents on that strip of land in Duluth were like, "No, we're not selling to you." And she said, "Well, I was going to build a pickleball court." Okay,
That's
you
what
weren't
you do
going
when you have billions
you weren't
of
going to build a
dollars.
hospital
The-
or a school. You were going to build us a pickleball.
The
Yep.
community center up in Cross Lake, Minnesota, where my cabin is, it has 12 pickleball courts, and
And they're
they're always
jammed.
full.
Yeah, which is
like
fine.
there's 4 tennis
That's
courts, and there's
wild.
like 1 person on them, and then there's 12 pickleball
I
courts.
I thoroughly enjoy playing tennis.
You know what I don't like about pickleball? Because I actually love playing it. I don't like when there are 12 pickleball courts and then people decide that they can play pickleball on the tennis courts too. Because then when you want to play tennis, you can't because all the pickleball people are taking it.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's definitely that. So
Not a fan.
That's why I prefer recreational hockey.
yes, because
No arguing over ice at Roseville Ice Arena.
at 10
At
p.m.
10:30 at night.
There's a
on
little bit of arguing
Tuesday.
at Northdale
on a
but
Wednesday.
Not
Yeah.
nearly as much.
All right, let's talk about some hockey. You told me before the show that you need to get to General Sports. What do you need at General Sports? How can we help you?
hold on. I
How
got it,
can we help you today,
I got it.
Mr.
I got
Rodney?
it.
Huh?
Okay, so here's the deal.
How could we use? How can
I've
we
been
help you?
so bad.
I feel like I'm
lately
the
at
guy
my
at General
pickup.
Sports with the apron on. Hello, Mr. Rodney. Welcome to General Sports. How can I help you today?
Okay, here's the deal. General Sports. Here's the deal. I need a new stick. I've got a
You've
crack.
been whining about this for
I got a
about
crack.
2 months.
I've got a crack in the
Get
hyperlight.
your ass over there.
I got
it.
a crack in the hyperlight. So here's what I need. I need a left-handed Bauer Twitch 77 flex or 70 flex, a P28 curve.
All right.
That's what I need. General Sports. If you're out there, you listen to me and you listen close.
You can get it.
I also got my skate sharpened at somewhere not called General Sports last
and it
week,
sucked.
and I legitimately ate it on
Yeah.
Sunday night, and I crashed
Yeah.
into the board. So it's a safety thing. getting
I
my
have to get
skates
over there
sharpened
and
at
get mine
General
sharpened
Sports.
very soon. So
But General Sports, that should be your one stop for everything.
keep going. I got something.
For youth hockey. Skates, gloves, protective wear, shoulder pads, elbow pads, sticks, incredible customer
You
service.
can even get a chiropractic appointment because they have a chiropractor
Sorry,
on
what?
staff.
Oh, I thought you were going to say on site. And I was kind of like,
No,
where
technically
on
it's really
earth?
close.
To General
their-
Sports?
Gannon Volk, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
really cool.
Okay. All right. Thank you for
That is your one stop for everything sporting goods. General Sports in Edina. It's right next to Braemar. 97% of the people listening to this have a practice or school or a game at Braemar Ice Arena at some point during the week. Stop in at General Sports for a left-handed Bauer Twitch P28 70 Flex.
Have you seen this yet?
I have.
This is the Player of the Game pin. General Sports Player of the Game.
Oh, my God. That's a hefty one.
And that will be given out to all Player of the Games. We have 210 of those pins. That means there's 198 players of the game who will get that pin. And we'll have 12 extra. And then we have 110 of these bad boys. This is a already sought-after pin. It's the Tony the Tiger hockey skating mascot.
Sorry, you say Timmy the Tiger?
Tony. Oh, you got one too, didn't you? You already stole one.
I didn't. Someone showed it to me earlier, and it never left my desk.
And so
but I kind of want to keep
what
it.
I'm hearing about this pin is that Jossie, because Jossie's Jossie, is coming up with some type of scavenger hunt for the skating. Yeah. I'm like, just what I need is a scavenger hunt feast at the Super Rinks.
So it's not a list of penalty box workers or PA announcers or ticket takers. It is a scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt for the Tiger pin. Yes. So
I'm going to question her about that tomorrow.
Yes.
On the women's
She she also talked on our women's pod about how she shouldn't be qualified to like figure out things for a tournament because she was talking about the magician.
What about the magician?
You remember? She was like, in no way was I qualified to figure out something to do for this camp. And then she found the magician, and he was really
She spent
good.
4 straight
And
sessions with the magician.
4 straight sessions watching him.
Because she couldn't figure out what he was doing. Now, I watched that guy for like 10 minutes and was like, I am lost.
David Magic.
All right, well,
Shout out David Magic.
David Magic gets so many shout-outs.
Did you see David Magic too?
I did. I only
he's coming
saw
back.
part of it.
I didn't see
It
him
was
at all.
very entertaining.
Yes,
like I think
very
magicians are actually pretty entertaining.
He was very good,
especially David Magic.
We will be back outside at the Huntington Bank Stadium this year at the camp, and there'll be invites.
Yay.
Invites will be going out to 7th grade boys and girls for the camp ASAP. So keep your eyes out for your email box, and we'll have a waiting list that we'll make as well. So that's all going to be going down here soon. All right, let's talk about some hockey. Speaking of our Gopher camp, our top forward in our Gopher camp last year, Dana Matson, was the
Dana Magic.
Dana Magic. She had the game-winning goal in overtime for Chaska Chan, and they won the Icebreakers tournament up in Duluth. They beat Alexandria 4-3 in overtime. They also beat Edina again. That's the second time they've beaten the Hornets, and they have a firm grasp of the number 1 ranking in the state. In the 12A, I have an anomaly for you guys here. This is a crazy one. It was a 4-team pool. Edina, Chaska Chan, and Anoka Rogers were in the same pool.
Cap.
And they all finished 2-1.
Cap.
Do you know how Edina got into the bracket play as the number 1 seed?
They put in a call to the one and only David Magic.
No, they did not. They pretty much did, though, because they had a rule in the rules that if you had a shutout, which they shut out Chaska Chan, if you had a shutout, you got 1 extra point. So they advanced. Check this out. They were 2-0. They were playing Anoka Rogers, and the minute they scored a goal on Rogers, because Rogers would have and still would have won, Rogers could have beaten them 21-1, and they still wouldn't have advanced because they did not have a shutout in either of their 3 pool play games. So Chaska Chan got in, Edina got in, Rogers, see you later, see you in the consolation side, and they just beat the number 1 team in the state, Edina. So
I actually kind of enjoy that rule.
it's a kind of
It rewards a shutout.
Yeah.
It doesn't reward you pumping a team 10-0. It rewards you for stopping a team from scoring.
I kind of like it too.
I think we would make that like our 7th tiebreaker.
Oh no, it could be the second tiebreaker before goal diff. I would like it. I like goals allowed, and then shutout would be kind of cool. Kind of like it. Okay, so that happened, and Edina goes on to beat Chaska Chan for the championship. Chaska Chan beat Minnetonka, I believe, in the semis. So There you have it. On the 10A side, Lakeville is now the number 1 team in the state. They cruised. They won the Icebreakers as well, and they are now the number 1 team because Minnetonka, the champions of our 10A, lost last week. So in comes Lakeville. Lakeville have been number 2 kind of on the outside, and they've since passed the Skippers, and they're number 1 in the state. So there you go. Thank you to General Sports for bringing us the girls' part of games of the past. Now the boys' part. Oh, Peter, you got a question.
I have some leading scorers from the Icebreaker.
How did you find it?
Game sheet.
Where? I could not find that all
Game
week.
sheet.
I could not find it. All right, let's hear it.
Game sheet.
Let's hear it. 15A, 12A. Oh, Alexandria. Can I guess who?
No. Okay, fine. You can guess.
It's not Maya Dutton.
What's your guess?
I said Maya Dutton would be the leading scorer, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Wrong. It's Emily Doherty.
I was going to say Doherty.
Would she be the younger sister of Ben Doherty?
She is.
Oh, gross. I'm turning into you.
Yes,
This
you are.
This is getting ridiculous. I'm remembering names now.
Yes.
Emily Doherty.
Ben's a 2000, and Emily's got to be like a 09 or a 2010. So there's
So this family
maybe
is,
they're cousins. I think they're brother sister.
if they're brother sister, the parents are reliving all of the youth hockey glory days right now. Emily Doherty led the 15As in scoring with 12 total points, followed by Abigail Peterson from Osseo Maple Grove, and then there's Maya Dutton. Peterson had 11 points. Dutton had, 10 points. Among the 15Bs, McKinley Howarth of Superior led the entire tournament, tied with Leighton Cragness. We'll get to her in a second. But McKinley Howarth had 17 points in 4 games.
That's a good weekend.
For the Superior Lady Spartans. I don't know if they go by Lady Spartans.
Let's call them
but
that.
Lady Spartans. Leighton Cragness led the 12As in scoring with 17 points, followed by Annika Buchanan from Eden Prairie with 9, and Tessa Cohen, also of Edina, with 9 points. Among 12Bs, we got Cameron Rugemer and Emery Jansky, the duo from the River Lake Stars. Rugemer had 14 points, and Jansky had 8 points for the tournament. Out of the 10As, we've got Cecilia Murphy from Edina Green with 9 points, followed by Reese Fairchild from the Duluth Icebreakers with 7 points.
I wonder if she's related to Izzy Fairchild.
I wonder if she's related to Cade Fairchild.
Right.
Fairchild. Mariana Roberts also had 9 points. She's from Lakeville. And among 10Bs, Anna Wiedowicz, Centennial Spring Lake Park, had 15 points, and Rudy
That's
Gilbert
awesome.
from Minnetonka had 12.
Her twin sister Maddie is on the 10A team, so that's fantastic.
How's about that?
I love it.
It's one of the best tournaments. I've been to the Icebreaker 3 or 4 times, and it's always a fun tournament.
Yeah, it's good. It's
a lot of good teams.
Usually before Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
So it's a
usually
different weekend this year.
A little bit later in the year, but it's a good tournament. Highly recommend if you're in the Duluth area to check it out next year.
Amen to that. All right. Our sponsor for this week's boys coverage is Breakaway Academy. If you want to get your child into Breakaway Academy, or he or she may be interested, check out Breakaway Academy. Thank you. What are the 3 pillars, Mr. Rodney?
Academics, athletics,
There you go.
and America.
You are
Character.
a winner. I like America better.
They're very patriotic
Yes.
over at Breakaway Academy, and how could they not be? Andy Brink played for Team USA at some point. Dave Snuggerud played for Team USA at some point.
Their kids played for
They've
Team
produced half of Team USA's World Junior roster at one point or another.
Yeah, they're both their sons won World Juniors, and I don't think either one of them won World Juniors.
No, but Dave played 400-odd games in the
Yeah.
NHL, and Andy is considered one of the best teachers of the game, I think, in the upper Midwest. So they've done all right for themselves.
I think they're doing just fine.
I think they're doing just fine. Yes,
I would
tonight
mark
is
them
Discovery
down.
Night.
I would give them a check box as successful, both of them.
Shadow days for grades 4 through 8 in the Minnesota location are available for Thursday, January 23rd for soccer hopefuls, and Friday, January 31st for hockey hopefuls.
Fantastic. Nice work. Nice work. All right, let's get some Bantam AA results. Did you find any leading scorers from the Star of the North tournament?
No, I did not.
It's not findable.
It is not findable. We know Shakopee won the whole thing. They beat Lakeville in the final. It's good for Shakopee. It's a talented team that ran into a bit of a buzzsaw when we first saw them at the Blue Ox.
Yeah. They're a young team, and now they're getting better.
They are. They spent a good amount of time on the Sanford rink during the Blue Ox, which was great, but nice to see Shakopee win one.
They beat Lakeville North, which is coached by Roger Mischke, who is from Grand Rapids. So I'm sure he had something to do with the Panthers going up north, and they've had a good season. Those teams, well, Shakopee's now number 10 in the state. I call that tournament the playing for 10th place because Roseville was in it. They were just on the outside, and so was Lakeville South. They were just on the outside. So there was 4 teams vying for 10th in the state, and since Shakopee won it, I put them as number 10 this year.
It was great to see 2 teams go to a final that we got to see earlier in the year, and it seems like both teams have really grown as the year has progressed.
I think they have.
Good for them.
All right, last Friday in Blaine, we hosted a Friday Night Ice Youth Edition. I would love to get your viewpoint because you were the MVP of that evening. Let's see how many hats that you wore that day. You were the pregame interviewer.
Yep.
You were the between periods interviewer.
Yep.
You were the postgame wrap-up guy with me.
Yep.
You were the pregame guy with me.
Yep.
And then you were also the PA guy for 10, was it 6-3? So 9 goals and a starting lineup and national anthem.
Yeah.
And the look on your face was priceless when you realized that somehow there wasn't a national anthem on the
I couldn't find
YHH.
Can we also
iPad.
talk about where Peter tried to hype up the audience and no one? That was literally my favorite part of the night.
Nobody
no
did
idea what
anything.
you're
I
talking
was
Who's
so
ready for
mad.
Friday Night Ice? And like crickets. Like it was the
Nobody
quietest,
did anything.
the quietest I've ever heard.
I was so bummed out.
It was
that
hilarious.
nobody
And
did
then he said, that was pathetic. Try it again, and just nothing.
And it just didn't happen.
I was like,
yet.
jeez.
Well, it
I was
wasn't
bummed.
I will say this, and I was telling Ryan this. I go, Peter's volume was pretty low. So I called him. I said, hey, turn up his volume.
Yeah.
You could not hear him very well.
So the
And again,
gain-
I had my headphones on, so maybe it was a little bit,
The gain was turned all the way down. And
Yeah.
when you're in the box, it sounds like it's loud enough because you can hear kind of the echo go. But when you're up it's totally different when you're sitting in the stand. So maybe nobody heard me.
No, we could hear you, but it wasn't crazy loud. I'll just say that.
It was a lot of fun. That I think that's something that maybe off camera we'll discuss doing more often because I think the kids got a lot out
It was
of
a
it.
lot of fun.
And it's also something that we can do without having to, I love our staff, involve 15 people and several thousand moving pieces. And I think we delivered a quality product.
Oh my gosh, the fight over the programs was like
The posters too, like the grandmas wanted.
Oh my
them.
gosh.
Also, the video we did, this little skate up videos, those kids just loved that. They eat that up.
It was fantastic. I thought the fighting over we made like 25. Well, there's like 17 families per team. I go, we'll make 25 of these.
We made
programs.
60 of them.
Yeah, and you would have thought there was like
12.
I felt that there was rioting in the streets over getting these programs, and I gave it to the team manager and said, "Hey, give these out to your parents. Be good." And then the grandma and grandpas would show up, and they wanted them too. And I'm like,
commemorative. They wanted to hang on
I'm
to it.
sorry, I didn't think of you when I printed 60 of these things, but it was worth it though. The fact that they was so well received is what made me the happiest. So it was good. It was a good hockey game. Luke Talbot is. Yep. I said before the show, he's the most talented kid out of the 35 kids there. I mean, he's a first-year kid, so he's, still a little bit not as confident as he probably should be because of his talent. But when he gets going, and his answers with you after the game, his post-game interview were just priceless.
He's pretty polished for he's a first-year Peewee?
Yeah, he's a first-year Peewee.
Pretty polished for a first-year Peewee. I like the shout-out to Mom at the end. That was That was fun. But thank you to Brad Zinda and Jed Rolfe for letting me bother you between periods.
Yeah.
1 minute goes up on the clock, and you're kind of like, okay, we need to jam this question in right now.
But I did warn them ahead of time that their assistant coaches should step in for that period, so they knew it was coming.
They were totally receptive to it. We got great answers out of both of them, and this is not it's not meant to make more out of it than it is, but it is meant to highlight these players and these teams. This is not looking for the next NHL superstar. It's simply shining a little bit of a spotlight on the kids, and you can't tell me the kids and teams don't love that.
Oh, I know. It's funny when I was on K-Fan the next day and I said, yeah, we had a backyard brawl. And literally they thought that was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, have you ever been to a Blaine and Andover game? It's a backyard brawl. I'm like, the video you made the next day, Kayla, had like 12 or 13 check videos in it and like no body checking penalties were called the entire day. Like that's the definition of a brawl. They were getting after it.
The whole time I was clipping those, I was like, this definitely isn't allowed, but I have to include them.
But that was my point. Like they didn't mind. The kids wanted to play hard and rough and the refs let them play. And I just thought it was a really good, well-played hockey game. It was like Blaine won the first half and Andover won the second half.
It was physical, but it wasn't dirty.
No, not at all.
It was physical, but it wasn't dirty at all.
No, they were getting after it, but I never once thought, man, they're getting a little cheap here. I thought they just played hard. It was really good hockey, and it was fun to watch, and really felt bad for the Blaine goaltender because he played fantastic, and one little puck bounce over his stick into the net, and that was kind of end of the game that was completed the comeback, and it felt like Blaine just kind of no wind left in their sails after that.
It was a lot of fun. I think we'll end up doing that again.
I do
sooner rather than later.
I really do too. It was fun. So, all right. Then we took the day off on Saturday and came right back at it Sunday and had our first Sunday skate with Custom One Homes. And Custom One, I mean, talk about first. If they build homes any way they pulled off the event on Sunday at Excel Energy Center, they're going to do a nice job on your home, whether it's the landscaping or whether it's building $1 million home or redoing your bathroom, adding an addition to your home, all those things that Custom One can do. It was so fun to, highlight their brand and work with them to put on a really fun afternoon over at the X.
It was a lot of fun. I think that's another thing that there are some events that you finish and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be done with this.
Yeah, well,
thankfully there's a year before another.
No, like a Squirtacular 198 games. It's not that we don't love it, but there's a lot of moving parts.
Right. But I feel that way after Lumberjack Cup. I'm like, okay, I need a year before the next Lumberjack Cup. I would do a Sunday skate twice a month.
It was fun. I
mean, to show up and be in an environment like the Excel Energy Center, which, it's for staff, it's still really exciting too, not just for the players or for the coaches. But that was a lot of fun. Woodbury Peewee B comes out on top over Cloquet. Woodbury
exciting game too. The funny thing is Cloquet was tied 2-2, and Cloquet was pushing hard. They were getting all the chances.
They had the edge too.
Yeah, they were getting all the chances late in the third period, and then a kid named Beers or Deers?
Connor Deers
had an unbelievable goal, and then they got an empty netter by Cam, who apparently loves Axtell, who absolutely loves YHH. He made an awesome video. He tagged us in the video. I love that kid. I love it. So
Woodbury Peewee AA with a big win over Rogers.
Next subject, please.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Somebody told me there was a scheduling sort of two ships passing in the night.
Both of them had scheduling issues, Rogers and Woodbury. So originally it was supposed to be a Lakeville North versus Woodbury, and that was going to be the game.
Okay.
And the district wouldn't allow them to play because the Excel Energy Center isn't technically a District 8 arena, but Tria is, which is a block away, which is really weird. So that game they couldn't do it, so they had to play later that night. And Buffalo played Rogers earlier that morning. So they played basically one game, took a 2-hour break, drove down to the X and played in that game. And you could tell that Rogers just didn't have the wheels that I know. I've seen them play. They played in our Lumberjack semis. That's a better hockey team than we saw on Sunday. I'll just say that.
Yep, but it was a great game for Woodbury. Nonetheless, Jack Kaiser is the player of the game. He had a hat trick.
I think he had 4 goals myself.
He did have 4.
He had 4?
Yeah. I was just I had to watch the recap. He had 4.
Okay. Yeah, well, then he was very humble because I asked him what his stat line was at the end of the game. And he said, I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, you had a hat trick, right? He's like, yeah.
Something like that, for sure.
He was fun. He doesn't use tape on his stick blade.
I heard that.
He doesn't use tape on his stick blade. He pulls, his jersey is long enough where it covers half his hand, so he pulls it up over his elbow pads. And then his coach.
Someone's going to, if I ref Jack Kaiser, I would get him on that.
You're going to have to get everybody then.
Why? Does the whole
Because it
team
was
do it?
the Andover Blaine game. There were at least 2 kids who had
What
the
is with
jerseys
that?
pulled up. Because for some of them, and I would fit into this category, my forearms are so small that my jersey would drape halfway down my glove.
Oh.
So during games, I would constantly go like this.
And I noticed that at the pumpkin, there was this, you could find him easily because he's got like some red stripage on his elbow pad. So you can see this red part of his uniform. Like the red is not part of your uniform.
No.
It's his elbow pad.
But it's not just a style thing because I looked at how much he'd rolled back. There was a sizable chunk of fabric. So I think it's the same thing that I dealt with where if you don't do it, your jersey's right here and you're doing this all the time.
Yeah.
And then David Eddy, legend, by the way, David Eddy. We should get him in here for an interview.
That'd be fantastic.
Nobody loves being a Peewee AA coach more than David Eddy. He pointed out Jack's breezers, which have rips all up and down
from being
the
slashed.
breezers from being slashed.
Yeah,
and he told me he doesn't like breaking in breezers.
I don't blame him.
The kid also, I asked him if it was because they're the Predators too. I said it matches
Like
his
a claw.
jersey.
Yeah.
It literally looked like a claw mark on his jersey.
I believe it.
He said that he liked it because of that too.
Yeah, he looks tough.
Tough.
He does look
He
tough.
gave a great interview. He was a lot of fun. And then Minnetonka scored A. Carter Thompson had a hat trick. That was a really good Tonka scored A team.
Yeah, and give Stillwater credit. They were down 3-rip and came back and tied at 3-3. And then it was just like Minnetonka put an overdrive. And you could see by the skill level in that game, Peter, why those are 2 number 1 seeds in their pools for the Squirtacular next week. You could see how they are going to give a lot of teams trouble. We could see them both in the quarterfinals next Saturday night. Right, Kayla? Saturday night semifinals? You're the one that's in charge of the schedule? For Squirtacular, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all in this.
Well, semifinals, the two levels of semifinals are on Saturday night. 2 are on Sunday morning.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe it isn't AA. I think AA is on Saturday night. I'm not sure. Excuse me, the platinum bracket. I love that Minnetonka team. They were my favorite part. Obviously, the hockey was really good, but their post-game water dousing of Thompson was
a lot
priceless. I mean, you literally could not have drawn that up any better. I love when kids get into it. I've done a lot of interviews where the team's just behind them, and then after I say the kid's name, and today's player of the game, John Smith, and then they go crazy when they hear their name, but they doused him pretty good. I like that.
He walked off the ice and he said, I guess I don't have to wash my jersey.
No. They don't. No, you don't. Before we move off of this, I want to just say something about the experience. So, and I said this during one of the broadcasts when I was working with Mr. Pappas, was from, let's just say, Wednesday to Sunday, I was focused on all of the adult things, pucks, game sheets, starting lineups, where kids go in and out of locker rooms, Jim Carroll, Nora Sauer, all the different pieces of the puzzle to make it all go happen. Now we're like in the first period or the second period of the Cloquet Woodbury game. And I'm like, I finally got into the skin of a child and went, man, if I was one of these 35 kids, I would be like, this would be so much fun to be out here where the Wild play and kind of see it all happens and to play on the ice. And one more little small detail. Jim had the game on his iPad in the penalty box. Mm-hmm. The lighting in there for the game on YouTube, it looks like almost AI.
Does it?
It's so bright.
Oh.
The quality was unbelievable. The quality of the imagery was amazing on the broadcast too.
Oh,
so
cool.
it was just an amazing experience for the kids, and hats off to everybody for putting it all together, including Custom One.
And for Nora Sauer and Jim Carroll.
In the box. They did great.
Showing up to the box. And Nora Sauer got her first collegiate goal.
She did. I found out in the box because I said something about how did you go into Gopher? She goes, well, we lost, but I got my first goal. And I was like, oh, my God. I was jumping up and down in the box when she told me that. I was so excited.
Very cool.
Very excited. I was so excited for her. She's such a great kid. What a fun family and what a great kid she is to work with. And she's a hard worker. She'll put in hours for us.
She will go all day.
Yes. It's fantastic. All right. Our next segment are games coming up. And it's brought to you by Map South Hockey. Peter, tell us a little bit about Map South.
Map South Hockey. If you're looking for everything in one for your player,
All in one place.
all in one place.
Ice,
You do your dry
off ice.
land, you do your weightlifting, you do your shooting, you do your stick handling. There's usually plyometrics. They can even spell plyometrics at Map South Hockey. There's usually a few D1 guys roaming around, a few pro guys. There's nowhere better in the Metro to get your game on than Map South Hockey.
What I would like to call it's kind of like iron sharpens iron. You're there with a lot of other kids and high school players and college players and pros that are all trying to get better. If you have a son or daughter that really wants to get better, no place better than at Map South Hockey, Blue Army, all those different brands related to the people over in Mendota Heights. I highly, highly, highly recommend people checking out Map South Hockey.
It's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
It's not for everybody, but if you take
committed.
advantage of the opportunities afforded to you by that place,
You got to be committed. No
you'll
question about it.
improve as a player.
All right, we got some hockey games coming up this weekend.
Do we?
We do. We're going to go up to Roseau first to the Dick Johnson Memorial. I have a quick story for you.
Okay.
I did a podcast with Billy Lund, who actually runs this tournament up in Roseau. His brother Greg, you interviewed last Tuesday.
I did. He didn't sound too good.
What do you mean?
He was sick.
Oh, he was. Okay.
There's an illness going around.
Yeah.
Up north.
I wouldn't know anything about that down here in the Metro.
Yeah, he sounded a little bit like you.
I've had a hoarse voice since the Big Pumpkin. But Dick Johnson was the longtime Peewee A coach in Roseau. And I asked him in my podcast, talk to me a little bit about Dick Johnson. I'd like to hear about him. What was he like? And he goes, man, he was a great hockey coach. He knew a lot about the game. He had his way. And if you didn't follow his way, you didn't play. It was just like the definition of an old school Northern Minnesota 218 Peewee A coach. I could just imagine what it was like to play for him. But they named the tournament after him, and they have 10 teams in their tournament, in their field. We have Roseau, Wayzata, Brainerd, Osseo Maple Grove, Warroad and Duluth East, I Falls, who played in our Lumberjack Cup, and Minot, and Fargo, and Thief River Falls round out the 10-team field.
Okay.
Besides Osseo Maple Grove, because I think they'll be in the finals. I don't think we would even argue on that. Who do you think on this list will who will be the runner-up in that tournament?
Oh, man.
No pressure, Osseo Maple Grove. We did this to you in the Lumberjack Cup, and it didn't hurt you. We felt that the rest of the 15 teams were playing for second place. Andover ended up getting second in the Lumberjack. Who's going to get second to Osseo Maple Grove this year?
Warroad,
huh?
Warroad's back to full strength.
Yeah.
Brainerd is also misspelled here.
It is.
It's spelled Brian Nerd.
Oh, yeah, I could see that being a problem.
I think Warroad is going to be right there with Osseo Maple Grove. I think Warroad's the type of team that can steal a game.
Than Wayzata?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I do.
Boy, I hard to argue with you on that one.
If you're
I'm
going,
a big fan of this I Falls team. I mean, they went 0-3 in pool play with us, but man, did they play hard. They really played hard against some really good competition.
I don't want to scare the rest of the field, but Avon Honfet's mustache is looking...
He's a Bantam, though. This is Peewee's.
Oh, this is Peewee's. Oh, okay.
Now
I got to make a change
now,
here.
I'm going to take Warroad. I think Warroad will be the second place team. I really do.
I could have swore you said Bantams.
No, this is Peewee's. Dick Johnson, Peewee A. Peewee AA. If it was Bantams and it was OMG and Warroad, I would pick Warroad over OMG. Straight up. They're that good. Wow, you're taking way too long for a PBA tournament.
Yeah, Warroad will stick.
Stick with Warroad, okay. I don't know. I'm going to go Duluth East. I said
that probably would have been.
I said this before the show. And listen here, Duluth East. Your team is really good on paper. We would like to see really good on the ice this weekend in Roseau. Is that a fair statement? We have not performed well. They've had a lot of ties. They didn't do well as well as I thought they would in the Lumberjack Cup. I have not seen a consistent effort or consistent results from Duluth East since earlier in the year. I think they won the Gales of the North. And other
The
than
Gales
that,
of November.
I don't think they've done well. So I'm gonna definitely go with who did I just say?
Duluth East.
I'm gonna go Duluth East. I'm gonna pick you guys, but you're on warning. I'll just say that. All right, next tournament we're gonna stick with the boys. You want to go Moose Goheen Bantam AA?
Okay, now we're on to Bantams.
Okay, you got that thing pulled up.
I do.
Go ahead and
Blackpool.
pick your pool winners.
We've got Centennial, Edina, Moorhead, and Rosemount. I'm going to go Moorhead.
Because it's a 16-teamer, like, our Blue Ox is 24 teams, they really squish out some of the bad teams. This is like 16
This is
really
Murderer's
good
Row
teams.
here.
This is a good tournament.
This
So,
is a very good
What
tournament.
do you got in the black? Centennial, Edina, geez, that's easy. Moorhead.
Out of the
too
gray
bad
pool.
Edina and Rosemount. Those are two really good Bantam teams, too.
Out of the gray pool, we got Andover, Minnetonka, Rochester, and Stillwater. I'm going to go Minnetonka.
Well, you got the number 1 and 2 teams. I got you with those as well. But I think Rochester's playing some good hockey. Stillwater beat Edina last week. Andover's had a good season. So I think any of these teams could really give. I don't think Minnetonka, if they make it through, they're going to be 3-0. You heard it here, Skippers.
Orange bracket, Rogers, West Fargo, White Bear Lake, and Woodbury. I'm going White Bear Lake. Don't let me down.
I'm going to go White Bear Lake,
Don't
too.
let me down.
We agree on that one, too. They just beat Rogers 2-1 last Friday. I like White Bear in this one, too.
Don't let me down, White Bear Lake.
This is a good one. Hermantown, Matamidi, Osseo Maple Grove, and Wayzata. Can you go against Kurt Hallstrom? Can you do it? Ooh.
I would go one-on-one with Kurt Hallstrom
I
pretty
could
much
take
anywhere.
him. I could take him.
In a fight?
In a fight, for sure.
I couldn't take him in a fight.
I could take him.
If we went
He'd be
one-on-one on the ice,
He's from St. Cloud. I mean, who couldn't you beat up from St. Cloud?
virtually
There's nobody
anybody.
tough. There's nobody tough.
Oh, I could probably take Brett Larson. But if Kurt Hallstrom and I went one-on-one, D2 Mighty
Brett
Ducks
Larson's actually
style.
from Sartell, though, so
Same thing.
Same thing?
If we went
Okay,
one-on-one best of 3, I think I would come out on top against Kurt Hallstrom.
Really? So we both can take you, Kurt. So,
But I'm going to pick
next time we
Osseo
see
Maple
ya.
Grove to win the pool.
And you're going to pick him, too.
Yeah.
So you're going to beat him up, and then you're going to pick him
I've
to win.
wanted Hermantown all season.
Same.
But they haven't shown me enough, so I'm going to go
Just like, are they your
OMG.
Duluth East? Is that what you're
A
saying?
little bit.
I'm gonna go Hermantown on this one, and pick those guys to win. I think it's a good team. I think it's a good team. I think they're gonna get over on Osseo Maple Grove.
All right, who do you like semis?
I don't know who plays who. Do you know?
I don't know what their tiebreaker standing is. I also don't know if like black plays gray and then orange plays. I don't know.
I will
what they
do this though. I'm gonna pick Moorhead to win it.
Okay.
And they will either beat Minnetonka in the semis or the championship.
I think it'll be Moorhead over White Bear Lake in the final.
I think it could be. I think Moorhead's just got too much.
Moose Goheen strikes me as the tournament that reseeds after pool play.
I have no idea, but they definitely get the best Bantam teams. It's kind of a precursor to the state tournament. Once the Moose Goheens played for Bantams, it's over. See you at districts, which I kind of like, you know.
On to Peewee's Moose Goheen. There are 3 pools here, 3 pools of 4 teams each. Pool number 1 has got Centennial, Eden Prairie, West Fargo, and White Bear Lake. It's an interesting pool.
Oh, I got this one over here. Okay, so which say one again?
Centennial, Eden Prairie, West Fargo, and White Bear Lake.
Ooh, I'll go White Bear. That's easy. I'll go White Bear in that one. Okay. I think White Bear's going to win this.
I'll take White Bear out of pool 1.
And then who do you have? Which the other one?
We got Bismarck, Blaine,
Chaska.
Chan, and
Those are 3
Stillwater.
pretty good teams there.
Yep.
Do you think Blaine or Chaska Chan?
Blaine.
Blaine?
Yep.
I'll go Chaska Chan. But I think Blaine, because of the balanced feel with this, I think they're going to emerge as the wild card.
Pool 3, Hermantown, Prior Lake, STMA, and Woodbury. I got Woodbury.
Oh, geez. I didn't realize Woodbury was in this tournament.
Yeah,
oh, geez.
yep.
This is easy.
Oh, too late.
Holy smokes. I thought this was Bantams, and their Bantam team is decent, but they're nothing like their Peewee team. I already know who's going to win this tournament.
Woodbury.
Woodbury's going to win this one.
Yeah, I
just
think
like
we
just
both
like
got
OMG's going to
Woodbury.
win too. So
Sounds
that
good to me.
wraps up the boys' side of it. You're going to take over the reins of the skate up for the roses.
We're about to skate for
the
the roses here. 10 A's, 10 B's, 10 B2s, 12 A's, 12 B's, 12 B2s, 15 A's, 15
Wow.
B's.
Let's just do the 10 A's, 12 A's, and 15 A's.
Okay. Out of 10A, we got Stillwater,
Stillwater.
Woodbury, Minneapolis, Waconia,
Stillwater.
Anoka Rogers, Andover, Blaine, and Prior Lake.
Stillwater. I got 2 Team Minnesota kids on that team, McNeil and Nev McAlpine. I think they're going to win the whole tournament. Who do you got? I think they're like number 2 in the state, too.
Who's number 1?
Lakeville. I already told you that.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case, I'll go Stillwater.
Okay.
12As.
I haven't seen this bracket yet. So
These are split. We're just going to pull up the printable version here. Pool A is Stillwater, Hastings, Minneapolis, and Blaine. Pool B is Woodbury, Rosemount, Maple Grove. Osseo Maple Grove. And West Fargo.
Okay. Is it 8 teams?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm going Maple Grove. They were number 1. They've actually lost. I did rankings last week. They lost and tied in the same week after winning 26 in a row. Edina and Maple Grove had like combined 40 or 50 wins in a row, and they both lost in the same week.
Well, it sounds like OMG's the heavy favorite there.
Yes, I would say so too.
Well, who am I to argue with a favorite?
Yep.
15A, Pool A, just says Champlin.
Okay, Champlin Park. Who
are they co-opted with? Is it Coon Rapids?
No. Yeah. Are they? No.
It would be really helpful if it didn't just say Champlin.
It's not.
I think it's Champlin Park, Coon Rapids. Orono, West Tonka, I'm assuming. Stillwater, Cottage Grove, Woodbury, Minnetonka, Madison, and Rosemount.
Wow, you're going way too fast now. One more time.
There's only...
You said Minnetonka, and I'm wondering, is it Minnetonka blue or black?
Does not specify.
I know. I think it's got to be blue because black just played.
Okay.
So I would guess it's blue.
Madison.
Oof. Okay, that throws a wrench in it. All right.
And Rosemount.
Rosemount's decent. Stillwater in it. Obviously,
yes.
They're in it. And then who else?
Cottage Grove.
Yeah. Who else? I ref Cottage Grove this year. Orono's decent. I'm going to go Stillwater.
You're going to go Stillwater?
If I don't get this one right.
Just for fun, I'll go Madison.
Yeah, that's a good guess. They've had some good teams. That's
okay,
for sure.
now I'm annoyed. Now I want to know who Champlin
co-ops. Coon Rapids. We should know that.
It should be Coon Rapids, isn't it?
I don't think it is though. Maybe it is.
At one point they were co-opted with Blaine though.
Yeah, they were. Remember when June Semling was on the team?
Yeah, she was wearing a Blaine jersey, and I about had a heart attack because I didn't realize that they'd co-opt.
Yeah.
It's Champlin Park, Coon Rapids.
It is. Okay, good.
Yep.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
All right, our final segment, Roses and Thorns, which was probably got its most views in probably 5 years last week due to a thorn that we threw down that was pretty heavy.
That thorn is still on my side.
Yes, it is. It's brought to you by Red Balloon. Red Balloon has it all as far as a urgent care pediatric clinic located in Edina, 73rd in France. Check them out if you have a sick kid or a hurt kid. You have a kid who needs stitches or a cast or a sling. That's where you would go if he or she has a sickness, an illness, and needs first dose antibiotics. That's a huge winner for them. You go there at 8 o'clock at night and you can't get to the pharmacy. They'll have some prescriptions for you right there on site, which is fantastic. So check out Red Balloon Urgent Care in Edina.
That was great.
Thank you.
Nothing to add to that.
No, it's a fantastic place. Great office. Hours are 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. In Edina.
It is kind of perfect, 3 p.m. to 11
Yes. p.m. All right, what do you got, Mr. Rose, Mr. Thorns?
My rose would go to Custom One Homes for allowing us to use their 4 hours of XL Energy ice to run the Sunday skate, and to the XL Energy Center staff for being there and being in the hallway while Kayla and Andrew and I were jogging up and down the hallway trying to get photos and whatnot. I think it was a really cool event. Really glad we got to do it for those kids. And the Cloquet kids I know had a blast. I'm pretty sure the Squirts did as well, but I saw the Cloquet coaches taking video of their players coming out for warm-ups, and I mean, what more could you ask for?
Here's a great story. So they were scheduled to play Woodbury, and the kids thought that their parents were dragging them from Cloquet to Woodbury, Minnesota for one game. They knew, but didn't tell their kids that they were playing at the X. They didn't know until they arrived at the X. They showed up like, yep, guys, we're here for our game. And they're like, we're playing here? I'm like, yep. And I can only imagine, I heard from a couple people because we had people on the ground. They're like, those kids were like, suffocating. They were so excited. They were just like, they were like jumping for joy, which is, again, what it's all about. And what a, huge hats off to Todd Polifka and the staff at Custom One for putting that on. It was a good experience for those 6 families, I'm sure.
It was
6 groups
fantastic.
of families.
I heard the kids getting off the service elevator because that's how they took everybody down to the hallway, and you hear we're under the ring, and you see the Zamboni exit. Oh, look, we're in the locker room area, and look at there's a roll of tape next to the door. I wonder whose that is.
Really?
Does it get any better than that?
I think that's pretty cool.
Doesn't get any better than that.
My rose goes out to Brad Zinda. You mentioned him earlier. He's the head coach at Andover. I got to know Brad way early in the whole YHH lifespan. When he had 2 boys that played, and they won state championships both at the youth level and at the high school level, and they had success everywhere they went. And Brad was a coach. He was, back in the Squirt days, he was coaching his boys, and he was pretty. We'll say he was pretty into it. When it's just like most dads are, he was pretty into it. And then once they got out of it and they were playing high school, Brad ended up reffing. And see, I was at the Centennial. He reffed in the Squirtacular. He reffed in the Centennial preview. And here's a guy who just keeps giving. And then all of a sudden this year, I show up in Rochester for the Big Pumpkin, and guess who the head coach of the Andover Peewee AA, Brad Zinda. So here's a guy who just, you can tell his love for the game. It's written all over his face, and he does a nice job with his Andover kids. And he, now the fact that he's reffed, it's made him a better coach too, because you don't see him getting after the refs like he probably did when he was first getting into coaching, and now you just see it. Like, it's definitely, he's matured into a fantastic coach, and the lucky recipients are the 16, 17 kids on the Andover Peewee AA team.
Andover won a state championship at the youth level?
No, I think they won Fargo. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's still pretty cool.
That
I
is
was
pretty
just
cool.
racking my brain trying to remember.
No, they won Fargo, and then they were. I know they made it to. I think
title.
they were in that Marshall State tournament with you down there. I think they were in that.
They might have been.
Obviously, they won. They won states in
high school
in 2022 as well. So
yeah, I just couldn't quite put my finger on when Andover had won a youth.
So those are the roses. What are the thorns?
I don't really have a thorn.
Come on. You said you had one. I thought you said you had one.
Oh yeah, but I don't really want to dunk on those people.
Who are you going to dunk on?
Minnesota hockey.
Oh, I'm going to dunk on them. So
the association to this point has 4 episodes so far.
Oh, you mean their little documentaries on associations?
Yeah, and I think I love the concept. I
Boy,
really
we're
do.
dunking both on Minnesota hockey right now, which is not very Tony and Peter.
I just think there are more interesting associations that have had to battle a much more difficult set of circumstances than Edina and Minnetonka.
I agree. If we made our association, that's a better question. I'm not a fan of who they chose. You led with Edina. I mean, talk about that. There hasn't been. I mean, there's been hard work put in, but like, talk about kids that are already pre-baked to be really good at hockey.
There are hunters that get to hunt with a bow and arrow, and then there are hunters who get to hunt with an M16.
Yes.
I mean, some associations are hunting with heavy artillery here.
Okay, so let's swing it to a positive, okay? You and I get to pick the next 4 associations that Minnesota Hockey does a documentary on. If we had just like piles of money, we could do our own. What would our association look like? What would the YHH association? I have mine. I already know who they are. I mean, there's one that like immediately jumps out at me. Like, these are the people that do it right. They are doing it the right way.
That's tough, dude.
And
I'm
they
looking
should
around
be, they
right
should be the
now.
one. I'm
looking around right now for a little
You're
bit
from
of,
one. You're from one of them, Peter.
I know, but I don't want to.
I'll do it for you. Let's do Roseville right out of the gate.
Oh, I wasn't going to do Roseville.
I'm going to do Roseville right out of the gate. Those people are the hardest working people. They have had some tough times the last couple of years with the loss of Jory Jones. They've had the loss of an assistant youth coach. I'm just a huge fan of Roseville. Anytime Roseville can do something well, I'm just a big fan of theirs. And I think that they do things right in their association. And they should be doing a story on Roseville because they have the greats You know, you have all the Curtin sisters, you got the Broats, you have, the Sertich family. There's been so many great families out of Roseville that you could just do a fantastic past and future and watch their squirt team. I ref their squirt team this year, and it's fantastic. You know, I'm just a big fan of how Roseville does it. Anyone in the inner ring, Richfield, Armstrong Cooper, Minneapolis, these are the associations that are really, they're fighting with much less artillery to build a successful hockey program.
That brings up another, I was going to say St. Paul Caps. I had a long conversation with the president of the St. Paul Capitals, Julie Bustos, and what St. Paul has to battle, considering that they don't get anything north of I-94.
Correct.
Because north of I-94 goes to East Metro.
Yep.
So St. Paul kids who live in my neighborhood, my kids would end up playing for East Metro. They're St. Paul kids, but they would play for East Metro, which is the amalgamation of
Tartan,
Johnson, Como,
North
St. Paul, all that. But the hills that St. Paul has to climb are so much steeper than
I agree.
Edina and Minnetonka has to climb. But I would throw Armstrong Cooper in there as well. Armstrong Cooper just kind of plugs along. Whenever they come to our tournaments, they're enthusiastic.
They're the nicest people in the world.
Their Bantam AA coaches are in it.
Remember the 12 Bs that won it a couple years ago? Those people
were
like,
great.
Wait, so you're going to broadcast the game tomorrow? Like, yeah, we just got done broadcasting your semifinal right now. Like, no way. This is incredible. Thank you. I mean, it was just so refreshing to meet those people.
I would even put Thief River Falls
in
that boat. Thief River Falls, if you look at what they're doing in the off season, and Travis Collins understands that Thief River Falls is a smaller town. It goes through cycles of numbers and talent, but how do you fight against some of those down rounds? Well, you play together a little bit in the summer. You try to keep kids involved and attentive during the off season so that they grow together and they get better and they improve their skills.
Hard work paid off.
And they won the state championship, PBAs last year. I mean, I feel like there are other associations that could use a little more spotlight as opposed to Edina and Minnetonka.
I know. I just kind of
I got no beef with Edina or Minnetonka.
No, I don't either. But why are we putting the light on? And then that's usually not even the Minnesota hockey thing to do. They're the ones that are shining light on the non-ones. So I was kind of surprised on how it was. So your beef is with the marketing and communications side of Minnesota hockey.
Well, it's whoever decided. The intro comes on and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool. Welcome to Braemar Icer. Oh, great. That's great. That's awesome. I know. That's awesome.
So my beef, yours is with the marketing because it's definitely a marketing piece.
Yes.
Mine would be with the competition committee because Peewee AA and Bantam AA will only have 3 regions each this year instead of the normal 4. And I think the reason the competition committee decided this is because there weren't enough teams. And I think there's a threshold of 40 teams or a threshold, whatever the threshold is, there's the number of Peewee AA and Bantam AA teams this year is below the threshold. So therefore they're only going to have 3 regions, which does not really hurt the Metro as much as it's going to hurt the North. There's going to be only about 4 teams. I think it's 4 teams from the North this year who will make the regions. And I believe there will be teams from the Metro who move up to the North. So in theory, there could be no Bantam AA or Peewee AA teams from the North making the state tournament, which is very unsettling for me. That would be my thorn to Minnesota hockey for not making the North still 8 teams, in my opinion.
We'll see how it plays out. I'm hoping for still a bit of geographic balance because I do think that state tournaments from youth to high school should be a celebration of the state as a whole instead of just watching a D6, D3 showcase.
We will find out because you're going to be in New Ulm and I'm going to be in Moorhead to watch it all kind of unfold. So,
and from a competition committee standpoint, what's better than a PWA final between Thief River Falls and Warroad?
It was unbelievable. It was so fun. That's one of the most fun games I've ever covered. Watching the crowd, I mean, these tiny little towns with 200-300 people from each town in the stands cheering madly like it was a plate in the 218. We were in Shakopee, and there was 500 people in the rink that day. And there were people just, the AA people, because the game was theirs was after. We're just like, this game is off the chart, off the hook good. And it was.
And I think it also takes a little bit away from the region tournaments because if I'm reading this correctly, the national bracket would get 3 teams, the American bracket would get 3 teams,
yes.
and the Olympic would get 2. So you finish in third place in the region, but you get to go to state.
State, exactly. Those are no offense. Right. No offense. I've covered a lot of regionals. Those are the lame ones. Do you remember like when there was girls 12A and they would be over at Richfield and they would have this like, yeah, we won our semifinal game. We're going to state. They'll be taking pictures on Saturday afternoon if they're going to state. And then they just play for seeding the next day.
Well, it just felt like we were all just killing time until Edina and Minnetonka could figure out which seed they would be for the state tournament.
That's what it felt like. It just doesn't. Meanwhile, the 8, where it's 4 teams, 2 per regional. You're playing you lose on Saturday afternoon in the semifinals. You got to go back door. No, you lose in the championship on Sunday morning. You got to go back door and play a team that's red hot. That format, if we could duplicate that somehow in YHH, the chaos and the intensity
of the backdoor
championship team making it into our tournaments. We can't do it because some teams only get 3 games and some teams get 5. It just isn't fair. But that format, that formula, it's so good. It is such good hockey and so fun. It's so fair too because the champion wins by going 3-0, but everybody else has got 1 loss and they're playing for their life. And it's the end of the year. There's just so much on the line in those games. And the fact that they're going to do this 3-team thing is just lame. I hate to say it. That's my thorn. It's lame. Give the Peewee AA and Bantam AA kids their due.
I think last year was a little bit of a misnomer given that at Bantam AA was Moorhead and Hermantown in the state championship game. That's great. They played their way through and they earned the right to be there. But you've taken something that makes numerical sense, 4 regions, 2 teams per, and you've adjusted the scales so that the national and the American are going to have 3 bites at the apple while
there'll
the
be
Olympic
6
only
Metro
has 2.
teams for sure.
So if we end up with an all-Metro state tournament, I mean, good for those teams for winning their games.
Believe it or not, Peter,
state.
that's what needs to happen for them to be proven that it's proven wrong.
And this is youth athletics.
It's
a representation of the entire state.
I agree with you.
We see enough of the D6, D3 showcase in the fall Tier 1 leagues.
Think about this for a second. Last year, the state final, Hermantown had to go through the back door to get to state.
Yeah, and they ended up playing in the state championship game.
Think about that. Minnesota Hockey. And I know that I read an email from a district director who didn't vote in favor of this. And he says, man, this was a long, long battle. The meeting to make this decision, I think the votes were 5-3. So it was a very close vote. Yep. If you are not happy with this, the only way to get this vote to change is to go to your association president and make sure that this gets overturned for next year, because it's the only way it's going to happen is if enough people talk.
And when I was a Peewee, I was the beneficiary of this type of rule. We were the third place team coming out of the Twin Cities district, but because we were the TC district and had so many teams, we got 3 teams, so we went to regions.
Yeah, you got to go to regions.
We benefited from a rule kind of like this, yeah.
Yeah, going to regions, but you didn't go to a state because of it.
No.
Yeah, I agree. Well, good stuff. Fun show. We both had our thorns today, so sorry, Mr. Hockey, Minnesota Hockey, about our negativity towards you guys. But
I look forward to the next episode of the association. I hear it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Anyway, so my deal is that they could shine a better light. That's all I'm saying.
Hands up.
Fantastic show, as usual. Thanks to our sponsors, General Sports, Breakaway Academy, Map South Hockey, and Red Balloon. Peter Rodney, Tony Scott, thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.